This person's energy lights up in a very profound way. Whenever they think about you, whenever they hear from you, they get a message from you, or maybe, if they're on your social media, they got the little notifications turned on. Every time there's a status update from you, it perks this person up. And with this energy of my soul sings at the thought of you, it's almost like this experience of joy or excitement. It's like music that is playing within their energy field. This is somebody that notices that since you've entered their life, they feel better than they ever did before. Even if there were times where you've had your like ups and downs with one another, or there was a level of nervousness maybe early on as you were like getting to know one another, could have been sort of a clumsy start between the two of you. They came in with the best of intentions, might have kind of stumbled a little bit. It's taken some time to kind of get that footing, get that confidence back up. Nevertheless, this is somebody that is definitely able to recognize they feel better, they feel inspired, they feel very motivated to kind of seize the moment in each and every day personally, and also as far as opportunities to connect with you are concerned. This is somebody that feels a lot of positive reinforcement within themselves, that efforts that they've made to kind of show those expressions of love towards you, make efforts to connect, or even times where they've had to kind of like course correct in certain sorts of ways, and you've been very gracious, open, and understanding with that. Or maybe you challenged this person, made them work for it a little bit, didn't make it so easy on them to kind of just come back in. Whatever that has looked like for the two of you, this is somebody that sees like you've brought a better person out of them. They are positively influenced by you. And so this is somebody that really feels like you are good for their well-being, you're good for their life overall. It feels like being in connection with you, things that you've talked about, or even just kind of like the vibe that you give off, how you live your life, it has caused this person to kind of like question other things that they have going on in their life. This is somebody, it feels like, that is starting to dream for more. They're wanting more for themselves than what they had kind of like settled for in different ways, or what they had imagined was kind of like how their life was going to play out. You've caused this person to revise future plans that they had, not just to kind of, it feels like, incorporate the concept of the two of you in what had only been sort of like a singular motion forward, thinking of themselves, or, just planning in that very kind of like single and independent sort of way. But this is also somebody that's starting to kind of like pick dreams up off the shelf, or start to look around at things that maybe they'd kind of lost interest in, or they hadn't really had the motivation or the inspiration to kind of pursue or to prioritize. And this is somebody that's like, why not? This is a perfect opportunity. They're like picking up healthier habits. This is somebody who is discarding unhealthy coping mechanisms, maybe even kind of like beliefs, or energies inside of themselves. And this is somebody that is accommodating and making space and making room for what they see can be a very positive experience of love between the two of you. You are a light in this person's life, and they understand that there is no room for that light to flourish if they are holding on to kind of the dense or heavier energies of like fear or discontentment, or even boredom with certain things that they have going on in their life. So it feels like this is somebody that is very excited for not only the future in this connection, but also like who they will continue to become through the influence of this love story upon them personally. We also have, I can hear you whispering softly in my ear. So it feels like this person consciously like talks to your higher self. They think of you when it comes to like making big decisions, or it's like, I wonder what they would say. I wonder what they would do if they were in my position. Maybe this person has asked you for advice about certain things, has kind of expressed certain things, and you've given them either constructive criticism or like that little boost of encouragement that they needed to kind of rush forth in the direction of that dream that they might have been hesitant about. This can also be somebody, though, that has just been sort of observing like how you live your life, chances that you've taken, doors that you've closed to certain things, and opportunities, windows of opportunity that you've carved out for yourself in different sorts of way that you are moving through at this very moment in time. that has caused this person, again, to kind of like look inward and ask themselves, what are some ways that I can stretch beyond my comfort zone? What are some ways that I can also kind of like reach within, dig up all of that kind of raw potential that had been unactualized up to this point in time, and really make some kind of effort, to bring that more into the flow of how I'm living my life on a daily basis. This is somebody that is very motivated to make positive changes in their life without needing like ultimatums to be given. This is somebody that doesn't want to, kind of just remain as a very stagnant version of themselves and expect that they'll be able to, kind of get the most out of this connection with you, or give the most to this connection to you and with you. This is somebody that understands this is like a shaping experience, almost like a life-changing experience, not just to love you, but like your presence as a person. They see that you change people's lives. Some people you may trigger, and it brings out kind of like an ugly side of them. They may have seen this with certain people, and it's like, this is somebody who's able to see, well, that must have had some kind of purpose for those individuals. But they also see the way in which you maybe trigger or inspire people to step into that season of blooming, that blossoming of like the higher potential or the better self. And this is somebody who definitely, in addition to the romantic feelings, they feel that motivation. They're very much, in alignment with that kind of just zest within your presence that kind of like brings out the best within people. This is somebody who, anything that has been triggered as far as wounds and insecurities, they were very surprised at the ways in which they kind of just sort of like reached into the higher realms, the higher self, directed attention that way. And it's almost like your energy or your presence or the experience with you has been like a companion or a guide as this person has kind of like crawled over these hurdles within themselves. The inner critic, lack mentality, defeatist attitude, a fear of taking risks. Since you have connected with this person, this is somebody that is like, yeah, I'm eager and excited, to step out of kind of like the ordinary that I've known for myself. This is somebody that recognizes in some sort of way they were living their life very contained, and you came along and almost like opened the door to a cage that they didn't even know that they were living in. And now there's this kind of call that is beckoning them to spread their wings and fly. Not to fly away with you, but to fly alongside you, to like rise into love or into this kind of like elevated experience in life. Even if this isn't somebody that's going to make like drastic changes, or kind of like chase their dreams down, at full speed. This is somebody, it feels like that their whole kind of like attitude or disposition has changed. They're starting to appreciate kind of like the little gifts in every moment. This is somebody who's starting to appreciate, silence rather than needing to kind of fill that with distractions. This is somebody that is appreciating blessings, not just kind of searching for things to be grateful for, but they're finding different things within themselves and all around them to acknowledge. And they can definitely consciously credit that, again, to the influence that you have had upon them, which has been very positive and very beautiful. We also have the portal to love is fully open. Yeah, so this person's heart is wide open. They want to give you the world. They want to give you the best experience in love. And so it feels like this is somebody that is working on certain things behind the scenes. They are trying to make improvements, things that can help improve their self-esteem, help to kind of manage stress levels that might be in their life, different kind of changes that they know will sort of bring more time or more of like an enjoyable experience. They'll feel better about where they are, or maybe even kind of be living more comfortably than they were before in different sorts of ways that they see not only contributes to like their well-being as a person, but in some way it's kind of like it increases the value of what it is that they have to offer you in terms of time, effort, energy, attention, the version of themselves that shows up in this connection. This is somebody that, is taking ownership of kind of like ways in which they've sort of settled into like a comfortable discontent. This is somebody, even it feels like for a lot of you, is kind of like looking at old wounds and old patterns, shadows within themselves, and kind of trying to, keep an eye on those things so that they don't rear their ugly head and kind of result in self-sabotage or, any kind of like unnecessary sort of inconvenience, upset, disappointment in this connection with you. They value you. They prioritize recognize you, and they understand that this is a circumstance that invites like the realist version of them to come forth, but at the same point in time, they're very motivated to not just say, this is who I am, take it or leave it, but it's kind of like they're present as that reality of themselves in the here and now, but they are working very hard in order to kind of improve certain things about themselves, changes that they've needed to make that just like nobody has really motivated them to do. They've just sort of leaned into excuses. I'll deal with that tomorrow, or, it's easier to just sort of like stay where I am. They're no longer empowering those kind of timelines of lack. This is somebody that is actively and in a very abundant way canceling out those kind of timelines of lack. They're collapsing the timelines of lack by choosing to kind of look very optimistically, very proactively, even in ways in which there may be some hard work or heavy lifting that needs to be done in order to kind of rise up beyond a version of themselves, shed a skin, and kind of birth themselves anew as like, the new and improved version of them, or somebody that has been like infused with the potency and power of this connection, that they are able to kind of show up in a more consistent, positive, high vibrational, or even authentic manner than they have in their life up to this point in time, romances of the past, or what you've seen of this person so far. This is somebody who feels like your love, this experience has changed them for the better. And it's not just like, oh, great, I feel like a new person. That was wonderful. Thanks for that experience. Let me go off and kind of, share that sort of light with another person. This is somebody who really recognizes that this is a connection where that door to love is fully open. Their heart is fully open. The more that they give into this connection, the more that they receive. The more that they participate with you, the more they are able to then sort of step away and participate with themselves on a level that was unheard of before. This is somebody that is really coming to a deeper understanding of what it means to love oneself for the first time ever. They might have equated that concept with being single, like not settling. This could be somebody that was very choosy. They had a very high standard, and you've come into their life and have really helped this person to understand like that high standard saved them from a lot of bullshit, a lot of unnecessary drama. They are very, very glad that they didn't settle, because now they have this opportunity to connect with someone, to connect with you, and you're vibing on that same frequency. And instead of just like, okay, great, all that effort sort of like led to this version of myself, they're now looking around and sort of saying, okay, what next? What now? How can we continue to sort of elevate or improve together? And what are certain ways in which, again, the way in which you light this person up, you really kind of like stimulate the better version of them to kind of answer the call of, maybe literally when you're calling this person, or, when they feel that kind of moment of energetic connection with you, it's like a better version of them that perks up. They are trying to find ways to create that as more of the dominant persona, not just so that they can show up and have this little kind of oasis with you in some sort of way, but this is also somebody that wants to, allow that version of themselves to be known in other sectors of their life. It's almost like reintroducing the world to themselves, or kind of like showcasing, hey, this is who I am becoming. And it's not just because they had some epiphany, or, even some tower moment that necessitated kind of rebuilding, or, turning over a new leaf, but this is somebody that wants to very openly and very honestly kind of like share with others, or showcase that and how they're showing up to life as a whole, like that they have been profoundly and positively and in the greatest possible way have been affected for the better through this exchange with you, through this love story with you. And it's not just one and done. Thanks for uplifting me. Thanks for holding it down while I fix myself so I could go be somebody else's blessing. This is somebody that is like, this version of me comes to life when I am with you. And so this is somebody that wants to continue to participate, find new ways, to build closeness, understanding, connection with the two of you, to support one another as like teammates, but also to kind of build this deeper sort of experience of love with one another, because they see that you are somebody that, again, like brings a lot of light into their life. And this is somebody that is learning to kind of like find that light within themselves. And they're doing a very excellent job of, kind of matching that energy with you, not as a way to manipulate, but as a way in which you have inspired this person to kind of seek and sort of fine tune that frequency within through different choices in terms of how they're living their life, ways in which they kind of listen to that silent self that is encouraging them to dream for more, to kind of raise the standards in terms of other things in their life that they have been just settling for or have been ignoring, disregarding. This is somebody that wants to take accountability for those things. This is somebody that is choosing to kind of discover and define the patterns inside of themselves as it's played out in all these different areas of their life. They are actively in the process of kind of stepping into the realist version of themselves, and it is all inspired by you and by this connection. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.